Feel the beat. Press and tails can't be beat. Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the wrestle heat. Now there's one time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smoke's always high. Fights and myths, all we say. Heroes rise till they sway. In the ring, night and day. Wrestling talk, come and stay. Now there's one time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smoke's always high.
So it's not going to be 4 versus 5. It's going to be 5 versus 5.
Robert. All right. Let's stop it right there so we don't get clipped for copyright for them playing Cult of Personality. But yes. All right, welcome back to the Malapert Mark Mother Effin' podcast. I will introduce Vlad and Robert after the first angle. I promise I'll try not to forget. But for right now, we're in the middle of an angle. We started off the show just by playing some images. First from Raw from this past Monday, which was the 18th, and then from Smackdown on Friday. So I'll go over what happened in case some people didn't see it. Again, I'll remind people that in case you didn't see any of these shows and you're watching our reviews, it's going to feel a little, out of order. So you can press pause and go to our comments, and we have all the videos to all the historical footage that I've cut up for you guys very nicely in our review posts. So you can check that out, press pause on us, go watch it, and come back and listen to our review. But for right now, let's talk about this Bloodline business. You just saw CM Punk join the Bloodline, but I do want to mention from Monday, I'm not going to review this angle from Monday, but I want to mention, since we're doing the last week in WWE and AEW in this show, I'll mention that Monday Night Raw on the 18th started with the Bloodline still trying to get Seth Rollins back with Roman to join up with Roman and face the new Bloodline, and they asked him again. Seth Rollins, of course, rejected him to get him to join them, which obviously I would too. I mean, if some enemy of mine that, suddenly came up to me and was like, hey, we need you to join us, I'd be like, man, you're crazy. Get lost. So Seth Rollins was facing Bronson Reed that night, and Solo Sikoa came up because Bronson Reed had helped the Bloodline this past Friday. So Solo and the Bloodline were here to help Bronson Reed. They caused a distraction and caused Seth Rollins to lose against Bronson Reed. So at this point, I think people were still thinking, you know what, Seth could still be the 5th guy in War Games because, he's feuding with Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed is getting all this help from the Bloodline. So it kind of made sense that maybe Seth Rollins would still be involved in this. But anyways, I'm going to move on to SmackDown, and then I'll get comments from you guys after that. So what happened on SmackDown was the Bloodline basically were thinking, the old Bloodline, sorry, this is the OG Bloodline. If you guys are watching on YouTube, there's a picture of Jimmy and Jay and Roman and Sammy, and they were talking about how they can't get a 5th guy. So they're just going to go at it 4-on-5, and that was their plan. And Solo and the Bloodline were demanding Roman's surrender, right? Since they couldn't get a 5th guy, so they're like demanding they surrender, and then the Bloodline come out and they're like, well, we're not going to surrender, and they were getting ready to square up and face them. When Paul Heyman came out, who had been out since the Bloodline put him out, right? They attacked him a few months ago. I don't remember how many months ago now, but this was
3 months, I would say. But...
Okay, this was Paul Heyman's return, and he introduced CM Punk into this angle. So obviously CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. and he's going to just join this battle just because Paul Heyman asked him to, I guess. Although he did have a little bit of a spat with some of the new Bloodline guys a few months ago. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you guys remember that. So
absolutely remember. It was a tremendous thing. Absolutely remember.
Yeah, it wasn't. So this wasn't completely out of nowhere. But anyways, this was the end of the angle from this night on SmackDown when Roman and CM Punk faced off. And they're like, whoa, we got some help out of nowhere. And this is some pretty strong, high-level help. So, and then there's the nice image that we've been seeing on all the thumbnails of Paul Heyman's work coming together. So, all right, let's get some reviews. So what did we get for this SmackDown? I think I got some reviews submitted by you guys, you fellow Malapert smart panelists here. Let's pull up our rating system for anyone who's new to the show and might not know how we rate angles. This is how we rate angles, just whether we liked it or not and how much we liked it. So on this one, all three of us, me, Vlad, and Robert, gave it a good solid 2 thumbs up. So we loved it. I could have gave it more, but I'll let you know why I didn't maybe after you guys speak. So let me start with you guys. All right, Vlad, the wrestling expert, welcome to the show. And
great to be here.
Thank you for being on. I appreciate your wrestling expertise. And we're starting with WWE today. So SmackDown, and if you want to mention anything from the Raw, so anything you want to mention about what I talked about, no time limit, just whatever you feel like saying. Go ahead, Vlad, please. The floor is yours.
Well, on the SmackDown segment to end the show is where I want to start at, because that was obviously the highest rated segment that we reviewed as far as this whole angle goes, right? It gave me chills, man. I have to be honest. When Paul Heyman's voice came on, I literally got chills. I really did. It was a tremendous, tremendous moment. There's very few wrestling moments that in the modern era, since the Attitude Era, that give me chills, you know. And this was one of them. This was one of the few. Maybe Cody winning at last WrestleMania was one of the other ones, and the way he won it, right? But anyways, this was a great moment, a great segment. The crowd went apeshit. And then when he announced Punk as the 5th guy, chills a second time. So I thought it was a great segment. The way they filmed everything was tremendous. The camera work was sensational. The whole thing was done on an unbelievable level. And then the shot at the end, it's like a movie, man. Like, at this point, Paul Heyman might just win an Emmy. He wants to win an Emmy. He's been trying to win an Emmy for his performances. I think he might just win one now, because this was the shot at the end with, him in the middle with these two guys, and then, them kind of going back and forth, like Roman's like questioning it, but like Punk, I mean, it's kind of saying like, yeah, I'm doing it for Paul type of deal. Anyways, it adds on to what now will be a more interesting Survivor Series match, War Games match. So I don't want to really rant and rave too long. Sometimes I do that, but
hey, since you like something, feel free, man. Because there's been a lot of recent stuff where we're just kind of criticizing and bashing, and a lot of people. I've heard a comment on one of our last YouTube videos say, "You guys are marks that take wrestling way too seriously." And I'm like, well, should we not take it seriously? Should we treat it as a joke or what? I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know what that means. We take it way too seriously, because we're doing a podcast. So what about all the people that comment as well? I mean, everybody that reviews wrestling and I guess as a mark then and take it seriously. I mean, isn't that the whole point of this thing, is to kind of review this and analyze it? Anyway, I don't know what that means.
Well, anyways, it doesn't matter. It is true though that most of wrestling you don't really like. I mean, if you put all the angles and line them up from all the wrestling shows on AEW and WWE, there's very few things that you actually give thumbs up and 2 thumbs ups to.
But it's hard not to like this, because look at all the people involved I really like. Obviously Roman, Punk, Paul Heyman, tremendous wrestling mind, one of the great wrestling minds probably of the current. People involved in wrestling, Paul Heyman has probably the best wrestling mind going, right? And then I like Jacob Fatu, Solo. I like Sammy. I like the Uso brothers, basically, So Well, the Tongans, they're a little shaky, but nonetheless, I think they've been properly shown. But otherwise, other than that, everybody else I like immensely. Oh, and Bronson Reed. How could I forget Bronson Reed? Who's been a great addition.
Yeah, it's so funny seeing him in there, and they just taking him in with open arms, and he's just up there putting up the ones. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, it is pretty hilarious. But I wonder what they do now with Seth, because for sure I thought Seth was going to be the fifth guy because it just made sense logically. I mean, he won't be in Survivor Series, I guess, but does he get involved in this thing just to get to Bronson Reed? I think he still gets involved. I think he might not be in the match, but he definitely will be involved. So. He has to, just because of the Bronson Reed factor. After Bronson Reed, after what happened on Raw, he still has to be involved somehow. So, the segment, by far the best thing that happened in wrestling this week. And I don't know. I think I'll leave it at that. Let Robert take the wheel.
I would agree. Based on the fact that I put it as our opening topic, our opening angle on our show. So yeah, I would say that it's the best thing that happened on wrestling this week. We do have AEW to talk about, but we'll get to that. For right now, let's get back to Robert, the Frozen Asian. Thank you for returning to the show. We missed you last week, and we're happy to have you back, man. So let's talk about the Bloodline. You go ahead with that, and whatever you got to say, man. Unlimited time.
All right. Yes. So I agree. This was the best segment in wrestling this past week. Actually, for me, SmackDown had some pretty good segments. I feel like this is the second week in a row where SmackDown was the best show of the week, 2 weeks straight. That's what I can. When thinking of all, and that includes pay-per-views too. So I would say SmackDown had the best showing this week and the week before. And this was
only other 2 thumbs up was Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay.
Okay, we'll get to that, but let's stay on topic. This was the best segment of the week for me, and I loved it. I could have probably given it a fire as well, but I actually couple of things. I watched SmackDown late. Okay, I didn't watch it live. So the return of Paul Heyman and the revelation of CM Punk as the fifth man was already spoiled to me before I watched SmackDown. So that kind of the shock factor wasn't there when I was watching this. So maybe I would have given it a fire that way. I don't know. So. Thanks a lot, YouTube, and your thumbnails, basically just ruining it for me. But anyway, so the shot factor was gone. I already knew this was happening. Another reason why I didn't give this a fire, even though I love this a lot, is because I still want to stick to a statement that I had made, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I think Keon, you said the same thing. They could have just left this as a 4 versus 4 War Games match, right? Because at this point, this late in the game, this late in the angle, the storyline, CM Punk and Bronson Reed is kind of like a late add-on. They're just tacking on last minute. So they're kind of like shoehorning them into the final minute of this whole saga. But at least they're really big names, right? They're pretty relevant in wrestling right now. So it's a good add-on, but I think this could have worked just as well if it was just 4 versus 4, and left it as the OG Bloodline as it is right now versus the current the new Bloodline minus Bronson. It would have been just fine. But otherwise, I still love this.
Real quick before you go, Ken, I agree with Robert completely. But traditionally, though, usually War Games is 5-on-5, like traditionally, historically. So
sometimes.
I mean, there have been. I know there have been some 4-on-4s that I remember in WCW, but for the most part, I think it is 5-on-5. But yeah, obviously in this case, if you just want to keep it Bloodline versus Bloodline, that would have made more sense. So. Yeah, but anyways, Keon, the floor is yours.
Well, yeah, I loved it as well. Obviously, it was nice to see the 2 eras of Paul Heyman, Roman, and CM Punk coming together. That's a trip. I will say that I think it made too much sense. If that's not really a criticism, but it made so much sense that it wasn't really surprising. And I had actually heard a lot of people throw that idea out there that they could do that or they should do that. So it wasn't very surprising to me at all. I was a little surprised that Paul Heyman came back at all. I thought they might wait on that, but this explains a lot about why they rushed that whole Sammy rejoining the Bloodline thing, because they had to get Punk in there and Paul Heyman back, and then I guess there's one more week next week for, you know, Punk and Roman and everybody to talk and figure out their, you know, teaming situation. So I think it all worked out really good. I don't think it's the peak of the feud. I think there's more that's going to happen that, you know, might give us a chance to give this a little more than a 2 thumbs up rating, which to us, those are the premium ratings. I mean, we give out 2 thumbs up sometimes, but it's not common. But these two up top, this was fire and mine completely blown. These hardly ever given by us, so these are very rare. I've given some fires, never given a mine completely blown. Maybe I'm sure there's someone out there that might have had their mind blown by this. Maybe, you know, but okay. Anyways,
I think I've only given one fire thing, and that was to the Punk McIntyre Hell in a Cell match, right? That's the only one thing I think I did, but yeah.
All right. Well, I've given it here and there. You know, I sometimes just really, really, really love something. But anyways, all right. So that'll conclude our WWE talk for the moment. We unfortunately, well, I don't want to say that because it's going to be slightly AEW heavy show.
Let me take a deep breath, guys.
Well, hold on.
I'm ready now. I'm ready now. No,
not yet. Before we go to AEW, I promised I would introduce you guys to the peoples, to the public. All right. Well, Robert hasn't been here in a week. He missed last week's show. I know it's too much, man. It's too demanding to watch all these shows sometimes, and with your life and everything. So I get it. With no hard feelings. We're happy to have you anytime we could have you. But what's up with you, man? How you been?
Good. Yeah, I was dealing with an emergency last weekend, so I couldn't make it. But, yeah, but I'm happy to be back. I did not watch this past week's Dynamite, so.
But you watched Full Gear, though.
I did. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I wasn't gonna watch Dynamite in preparation of Full Gear. I just figured I'd just watch Full Gear.
Oh no, you didn't miss much. It was a very low-rated Dynamite in terms of the fans. It's I've got a lot of comments and stuff on the internet. I noticed that people were saying it was the worst go-home show for a pay-per-view for any AEW show, which I don't know. I've heard that thing with AEW all the time. The worst whatever, or the worst, the least rated whatever. It happens a lot. But anyways, yeah, it wasn't a very exciting or noteworthy show. I do have some things I'll mention from it, a couple things, but all right, so you missed Dynamite, but you watched Full Gear. That's good enough. We have a lot of Full Gear to talk about today. It's pay-per-view weekend. Full Gear was yesterday, so we're going to cover a lot of the topics, not all of them, but we'll go pretty in-depth on that, and we'll get back to WWE, a couple things at the very end. Vlad is also here, the wrestling expert. Thank you so much, man. I hope you're doing all right. What's up with you?
You know, same old, but I'm doing well. I'm here. I'm breathing, and on we go. You know, life goes on.
Watching wrestling. All right, well, before we go on to the next week of wrestling, we're here to review last week. So it's Sunday night now, and every Sunday night we've been gathering to review everything since Monday Night Raw, which is a big to-do. It's a big ask, honestly, to squeeze it within an hour and a half.
Yeah,
but we do our best, and we've been pulling it off for the past few weeks. So we have this series currently running this week in AEW and WWE. We've mashed together these two companies to make a show out of this, a talk show. And I've started a separate show that launched last week, this week in TNA. So not as many people might want to listen to that. So if you're into TNA or you want to know what's going on in TNA, that's available. You can go on our YouTube channel, and that's just me. So I'm just talking by myself like a psycho about freaking TNA for an hour. It's pretty amazing, actually. But anyways, that's out there. I'm not going to force people to listen to it or really encourage you if you really want to. You want to know what's going on over there. I review all the angles in depth by myself and show slides and stuff and highlights and listen to promos. So that was fun. I'm gonna do it again this week. So that's gonna be another thing that I'll try on this show. I'll do it for a while and see how it goes. So this week in TNA, that's also on this channel. Robert, if you're bored, you can go listen to some Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth promos or something.
Joe Hendry, oh man.
Where's Joe Hendry? No, I shouldn't have said his name, damn it. I hope he doesn't come, honestly. He's annoying. But anyways, he's a nice guy, but he's annoying. Anyways, back to AEW. All right, guys, so I promised we were going to do full gear reviews, but first I will start with one angle from Dynamite. So this is the past week in AEW, so I'll just cover one thing from Dynamite that we may or may not get, in-depth comments about, but I'm not going to go too in-depth. But there was a match this past Monday between Claudio Castagnoli of Death Riders and Darby Allin. Vlad, I don't know if you remember this, but...
I remember. Jesus Christ.
So Darby Allin, who's been feuding with the Death Riders crew, who's been invading, quote-unquote, AEW. It's been a long story. We've been covering it on our channel. If you know about it, I'm sure you know about it. But anyway, so these guys had a match, and Claudio, I think, just basically fucking whooped his ass and kicked his ass and picked him up. This was one of the images of him throwing Darby onto some tables on the side of the announce table, the commentator's booth or whatever, and Darby was pretty fucked up from that, and I think he crawled to the ring. He made it to the ring, but Claudio put him in, I think it was just a really vicious clothesline as his finishing move or something like that, and he beat Darby Allin 1-2-3. Thanks for coming, Darby Allin. So Darby Allin again just taking fucking clean loss after clean loss after clean loss. Vlad, you gave this a thumbs down on your review.
I should have given it 2 because it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, since
can I share why I think it's insane?
Let me put 90 seconds on the clock for this one. I don't want to talk about it forever because we got a lot to talk about. But yes, please, Vlad, comments from this Dynamite booking of Claudio Castagnoli beating the AEW pillar Darby Allin clean with no help whatsoever.
What's frustrating here is I don't understand. Is Darby supposed to be like this, like in the Sting role, battling these invaders type of deal? Like he came in from the rafters a couple of weeks back, right? Like when Sting.
That's a good point. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So he's playing the Sting role, supposedly, like fighting the invaders, and he just gets his ass kicked. Like, literally, just Claudio beat the shit out of him. Just beat the ever-loving God out of him.
It's not the first time Darby's been taking clean losses. I mean, didn't he lose his last match? He lost his last match to Moxley. Clean, so...
Yeah. Okay, he lost to Moxley, I understand that. But here with Claudio, there was like... So, he can't beat the main guy of the... He can't even beat the second guy in this group. He can't beat anybody in this group. So what the hell are they feuding
Is there any logic to maybe, here's what I was thinking, that maybe they're trying to make him seem like this super underdog, that he tries and tries and tries and he loses every time.
At this point, he's a loser. At this point, he's not an underdog.
Well, what if someday he actually wins and he becomes champion? It'll be like, oh my God, finally he did it. You know, is that what they're going for?
Yes, at some point. I don't know if this is when that will be.
So the fact that he's taking clean loss, you don't think that helps him in the long run to say, oh, finally at the end he finished his story? I don't know. Robert, do you
I don't know.
Do you have any comment on Darby Allin taking clean losses?
He lost. He got beaten by Jack Perry and not like pretty handily too. Like it's not hard to believe that Claudio Castagnoli, who's so much stronger, would beat him easily. I don't know.
Claudio is not really a strong character in terms of his history in WWE. He's not like fucking, he's not one of the top guys, but I guess they're trying to make him look strong here in AEW. They're trying to make him one of the strong guys. He's in Death Riders. They're running roughshod over the company. I don't know. I gave it a thumbs down. Robert, you didn't have a review on this because you didn't watch Dynamite, so that's okay. No review from Robert, but we still got some kind of comment. I mean, I don't know. I always thought Darby was supposed to be like a really big part of the story here at AEW that it's leading towards something. He's going to be champion.
This is a very big part of this angle, a part of this feud. Like, he came through the Raptors. Like, what's the point of that if he's just going to lose in his match? Like, I'm just flabbergasted by this booking. I mean, did they have to beat him like that? Like, they couldn't come out any other way in this match with Claudio just beating the shit out of him clean on Dynamite?
Is it so important for Claudio to get a win? Like, I don't know. Okay, let's move on.
Unbelievable.
I know. All right, let me move on, though. Let's move on to Full Gear. All right, so this is our first topic, actually, from the pay-per-view from this Saturday, the 23rd, which is last night from as we speak right now. And here comes Jon Moxley in his jacket. I've heard a lot of people say, like, these guys just come out with their regular, like what Robert's wearing right now. It would be like, that's how Moxley came out for his
This
match.
is my hook gear.
Yeah, and then Orange Cassidy in his, spandex imitation jeans or whatever. Like, you look at these two superstars. So this is the world title match. The Death Riders angle has culminated in this for the moment. Here's Marina Shafir. She's got the world title belt in that briefcase, which they never took it out. I thought they were supposed to, like, take it out and show it to the people. Like, how am I supposed to believe it's in there? But anyways, I'm not going to talk about this match too much. The link to the whole thing is in the description below if you guys need to see it. Here's Moxley looking nervous. He was trying to sell that, he's actually a little bit afraid of this Orange Cassidy match. But I'm skipping way into the match. And here's Orange Cassidy. He's got color. He got a lot of blood running down his face. And then here comes the Death Rider. So this is where the interference starts. And to me, that's where really, the match starts. That's where I start paying attention, really. So the match was whatever. It was probably all right. But, all right, so the conglomeration come out to counteract Death Riders. And they have a fight. And Marina was going to attack Orange Cassidy from the back with the briefcase, and then Willow made the surprise appearance, which I think that got a big pop from the crowd. And then, so she canceled out Marina, and then Orange Cassidy did nail Moxley with the briefcase when the referee was distracted with something. And that was the closest to us thinking that he was going to win. Like, that was maybe the moment where I was like, holy fuck, is Orange Cassidy... Like, the moment Orange Cassidy becomes champion, it's going to be a monumentous occasion in the history of wrestling. But
you ain't lying. It'll be curtains for this company, but yes. Continue.
Well, I'll give my comments on it, because I thought it could happen here, but in the end, Moxley did kick out of that, and what happened... Here, what was the end? Oh, the ending was, to me, was kind of a dud, because Moxley looked out on his feet. He fell to the ropes, and the referee was checking on him, and that's when I guess he couldn't see Wheeler Yuta come out the side, which it looks like he's trying not to look.
Exactly right.
And then Wheeler Yuta does the Daniel Bryan move, the Psycho knee, and nails Orange Cassidy, and that led to the ending. So Moxley actually retains and keeps the title. And there was an afterbirth. There was a lot of afterbirth, but but hold on one second. So I split this up into a few angles. For right now, I just want to stick to the Orange Cassidy, Moxley, Wheeler Yuta stuff. So they were going to beat up Orange Cassidy. Well, not beat him up. What did they do? They got like a bottle of chemicals or something.
I don't know what was in that bottle.
Yeah, and they poured it down his throat, and then Hangman Page came out of nowhere to save Darby out. So it seemed, but he had ulterior motives. But that's what stopped the whole thing with Orange Cassidy and Moxley. So they had plans to do some more damage on him. So I'm going to stop that right there. That's my angle. My angle for this one, I call it Wheeler Yuta is the difference maker in chaotic main event. Jon Moxley retains AEW World Title, defeating Orange Cassidy. At the end, Hangman Page prevents further attacks on Orange Cassidy, although Page had ulterior motives, which we will talk about in the next angle we review. But for right now, let's just talk about the fact that Orange Cassidy didn't win the World Championship here. Oh, here's the picture of, I thought I did save that. So this was them doing some kind of chemical warfare on Orange Cassidy and pouring something on his face. And, they had tried to suffocate Daniel Bryan and murder him.
That's right. Why not
before,
this?
And then this. So
yeah.
Let me stop it at some painting, not a good painting, a good picture. All right, so here it is. So Moxley's the winner. Robert, I'm gonna start with you this time. You go. You got a minute on the clock. You got any comments? Oh, your reviews. Hold on. What was our reviews on this? Vlad didn't submit a review because I don't think you.
I didn't really watch the show.
You didn't really watch the show.
I didn't want to review for that reason. I mean,
it's okay. It's okay.
I have enough idea about what happened based on things that I've seen.
Robert gave some decent reviews to Full Gear, including this one. He gave it a thumbs up, so I guess he liked this thing. Yes. I gave it an indifferent, so I couldn't bring myself to like it really. But I'll let Robert start first, and then I'll give my reasonings why I didn't really like it. So, Robert, whatever thoughts you have about your thumbs up here for Orange Cassidy versus Moxley.
So I did like the match. I still liked. They had a couple of matches on Dynamite before, and their first out of those two matches was really, really good. I didn't think this match was as good as that, but it was still decent. I did think it was hilarious when Orange Cassidy did the orange punch right at the very beginning before John Moxley could be introduced. I thought that was funny. I got a laugh out of that. I think Orange Cassidy pretty much should have been called Red Cassidy throughout this match because he was bleeding for the majority of it. His hair color changed. So yeah, it was a pretty well worked match, and I don't know how most people felt, but I did not want Orange Cassidy to win. I wanted John Moxley to win because at least for me, for me this whole idea of Orange Cassidy being a leader is kind of ridiculous. Like, why him? If I was someone in the AEW locker, I wouldn't look to him as the leader. Like someone who barely says much, and like looks like he's giving not much effort in anything he does, except like maybe in his matches, sure, once in a while, but. Like that's not someone I would gravitate to as a leader. So that whole idea of him, being the leader of the movement against the Death Riders and taking the power back from them, I just never rolled with it personally. So if someone's gonna take the belt away from Moxley, I don't know. For me, I just don't want it to be Orange Cassidy. So I did root for John Moxley. That's one of the reasons why I like the result. And then the stuff that happens afterward with Hangman, Adam Page, that was a surprise. But then again, you did mention there is an ulterior motive, which we'll get into in about a minute from now. So I don't want to say too much just yet. So I'll stop there. So I did like the match enough to give it a thumbs up.
All right, cool. Good to know. Good to know. Vlad, do you have any comments on this? I know you didn't see the match, but I guess you know the booking, and you could probably still give your thoughts. You give some thoughts. I'll put 90 seconds. You don't have to use the whole thing, and then I'll give what I thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with Robert on one thing. I definitely did not want Orange Cassidy to be the company's world champion. I mean, that's a joke. That's a joke. But the problem is not so much that, because I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I mean, Tony Khan is crazy, but he's not that crazy. But I think this whole feud in general is the problem. Like, nope. It was just the build-up to it, this whole Death Riders as a stable. Everything about it is just very bad. It makes no sense. And that's why I couldn't even be bothered to really watch most of the matches on this card. I know there were some decent matches on this card, and I know some people are praising the work rate or whatever. I have some issues with that, which I will discuss in some of the matches that we discuss later. But as far as this, I guess this was okay for what these guys could do. I mean, Moxley wrestles his style. Orange Cassidy's a joke. So it was what it was. And the right guy won, I guess. I mean, if you two bad options, and yeah, the better of the two bad options won.
Yeah, it was like Trump and Harris, two bad options.
Yes, that's
Anyway-
fine. Let's leave it. Let's leave it at that.
Anyways, I find it interesting that Robert says he probably listened to Orange Cassidy's promos throughout this whole feud we've been watching, and you don't think he deserves to be a world champion, right? That's your conclusion, right?
Well, he called himself the leader. Like he's taking the role of the leader, and that's like the reason why he needs to take the title away from John Moxley. I wasn't rolling with that idea. Him being champion, I don't know. I can still see that happening someday.
Oh, yeah.
Just not for the purposes of this specific angle.
All right. Well,
That's
listen.
fair.
So I kind of have the opposite thought of you, Robert.
Interesting. Okay.
Like I'm mad. I didn't like this because Orange Cassidy didn't win. Like,
Okay.
Are you insane?
All right.
Have you been
all right,
smoking the
good.
ganja?
well, look, guys. This, whether you like Orange Cassidy or his promos or you think the gimmick's bad, this is gonna happen, guys. He is going to be AEW World Champion. They're building this. This is like the biggest long-term angle they've been building. I just wanted it to get it over and done with now.
Happened here though, not with what they're doing.
Why
with
not?
That's right. No.
No, well, they needed to finish that and then finish this program with the Death Riders. Like, this should have been the end of it. Like, let's move on. Let's all move on from this shit. Give Orange Cassidy his little run. Let him come out tomorrow with the World Championship, and then he can lose it in a few weeks, and then we can start over. That's what I was hoping for.
In
Like,
a few weeks, for all you know, Tony Khan's going to give him a Roman Reigns-like run with the title. You don't know what this guy's got in his head.
That's true. But I do think
They have the same finisher.
Exactly.
that would be a super fight: Roman Reigns versus Orange Cassidy. Oh my God!
Super.
Well, there was some excitement to this when the Orange Cassidy false finish. I think really had people like not knowing exactly if he was going to win or not. So there was a little bit of excitement. So I didn't give it a thumbs down, really. But regardless of that, all right, let me move on because we got a lot to get to today. So I'm going to stick at the same show and at the same very moment. So we're going to the angle that came up right after the match. So Hangman Page came up inexplicably to sort of, it seemed, help Orange Cassidy, which didn't make any sense because they don't really have any connection. But Moxley's looking at Hangman. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And that's when Christian came out of nowhere and gave Moxley, what is that? The Imprinter? I guess it used to be the Imprinter. What's it called now?
I have no idea
The kill
what it's
switch.
called.
The kill
Switch. Yes.
I'm sorry. So there you go. I mean, Christian has much like Tiffany Stratton and Kazarian in TNA. He also has one of these contract things that he could call his shot and have a title match at any moment. And there's John Moxley and he's unconscious, and it's it's been set up perfectly by Hangman Page. And here's where Vlad, you didn't see this, but they did that stupid shit where they took forever. You know, he's got an unconscious champion there, and he's looking at Page. He's like, give me that thing. And Page finally hands it to him all slow, And this doesn't even do it justice of how slow it was. Like, I'm going kind of fast here. But yeah, and then Cage is like looking at it, and he's like, am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Looking around, like, it's so stupid. I hate when they do this in any of these like Money in the Bank type of situations. And then obviously Switchblade Jay White had enough time to be like, fuck that, I'm not letting Christian become champion. And he came in and gave him the Switchblade, I guess, the kill switch and the Switchblade.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So then there you go. Death Riders came in. They beat up Jay White, and they escaped with John Moxley. And this is still not the end of this. There's another angle that comes up, but I'm going to stop that right there. So I'm separating this into 3 angles, really, the end of the show.
My head.
But okay, so for this one, me and Robert submitted reviews. So Hangman Page appears to be in cahoots with Christian, sets Christian up perfectly to cash in world title contract against unconscious John Moxley. and then Jay White ruins Christian's chances. So both me and Robert, we gave this a half thumbs up. No pun intended, and Orange Cassidy, half thumbs up. But in our scale, that means we kind of liked it. So I guess it was something, right? It was something interesting. I wasn't expecting it. The whole cash-in thing. I thought for a second, it could happen. Just like the Orange Cassidy thing. I was like, is this going to happen? Is fucking Christian going to be champion? I was like, I was kind of happy about that. I was like, yes, I'm trying to get off this Death Riders thing. But anyways, okay. I'll start with Robert again. You don't have to use the whole clock or whatever, but Hangman Page, Christian, whatever you got to say about this attempted cash-in that failed.
Yeah, so first off, props to the person that was holding up that sign, Christian doesn't pay child support. That's pretty hilarious. I mean, this wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad, but it's just the execution of it wasn't that great. Like what you mentioned, they took their sweet time with it.
My eyes.
Yeah, when Hangman Adam Page, he held on to that. Was it a contract or whatever? He held on to it for a while before finally giving it to Christian Cage, and then Christian Cage took his sweet time before trying to give it to the referee. I'm like, yeah, it was too much hesitation. So it's just the execution that I didn't really like about it.
All right, Vlad, do you have any comments on this attempted cash-in that failed? I know you didn't see it really, but I showed you pretty much what happened.
Yeah, and I saw this. I mean, I didn't see this specifically, but I got through the highlights of the show, and I got that this happened. Any comments? Let's see. I mean, I just think the whole thing was very messy. There's so much happened at the end when really unnecessary. They're trying to get this Moxley group over, but then these other heels are coming in with Hangman and Christian and they're going to take his title, but then they look like idiots because they're just have their fingers up their ass. What the hell are they doing? Do they have any interest of taking the belt, or are they just fucking around? It looked like they're just fucking around.
Yeah.
So that was ridiculous. And then, of course, my least favorite wrestler, maybe, as far as character goes, not his in-ring work, but just what's his name? Switchblade, or is that his name? What the hell is his name?
Jay White.
Jay White, who's maybe the worst promo in the business. I can't. So I was like, oh, this guy's involved. That means maybe he's the next one to feud with Moxley. I don't know. None of this is exciting at all. None of this is at all interesting to me. And all these people I just don't like. I mean, Christian's cool, but come on, the way he's been used lately. Anyways, yeah, I'll leave it at that. This was no good. No bueno, guys.
All right, I guess a thumbs down from Vlad. All right, so I'm gonna.
It would have been, yes.
I'm gonna go to the last part of this, the last angle that they shot in this whole mess of an ending of Full Gear. This is right at the end, so this was the main event. So Moxley's trying to get away with Marina. Marina's trying to get him out of there, like the Secret Service, It's like, come on, let's get out of here. And they're almost at their truck, their pickup truck. They're really cool Ford F-150 that they drive, and out of nowhere a car just came out 100 miles an hour and just smashed into their pickup truck. A car with a skull, it looks like. So a nice car, had some good artwork on it, but it just got smashed. So I guess they paid and bought a car so that they could just smash it. And so there was a moment where these Death Riders are panicking, what the fuck, who the fuck is that? And they're trying to figure out what to do. They beat up some random guy who was hanging out there. I don't know who the hell that was. And then they took, I guess supposedly that was his car. So they had to get in a car and leave. So they picked up a car and they just took it and took off. And that's when Darby Allin starts yelling at them, and then he fucks up their Ford F-150. So they got to get a new windshield for that shit. And that's the
you
end.
You gotta get a new car. You talking the car?
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, it's probably totaled. You're right. After that crash. Okay. Fine. All right. Let me go to me and Robert's reviews then, since Vlad doesn't have one again. Full Gear. Darby Allin attempts vehicular manslaughter on Death Riders, but misses. Death Riders steal car to escape the arena. What am I at?
I just want to correct one thing. Real quick, is it vehicular manslaughter when there's nobody else in the car but him driving it? Is he trying to commit suicide at that point? Just driving head into a car at full force?
Yeah,
is he
that's
trying to kill
true.
himself?
I didn't realize how badly he missed. Like, he didn't hit anybody. But okay.
He hit the car, but they were nowhere near the car.
I gave this a half thumbs up for it being something. Although I'm kind of even debating whether it deserves that, especially considering the angle we just covered where Darby Allin just took a clean loss. Like, and yet still they're sending him out there to be a big part of this angle. Robert on this one, an indifference. So for this Darby Allin scene, he didn't give it any type of credit, unfortunately. So we did get comments from Vlad. Did you have any more comments, Vlad? Did you want to say something else about this?
No, I mean, I think you basically said it all there. I mean, what's the point of this when we just saw him a Dynamite lose again? I mean, how can he be the guy fighting them off when he just loses every match to them? Next week, they're going to have him fight Maria Shafir, and he's going to get his ass kicked. I mean, are you kidding me at that point? Like, what is the point?
It's going to make him a bigger underdog, so that when he wins, it's going to be incredible. I don't know.
Well, first he has to lose to Wheeler, and then he has to lose to Maria. I forgot about the Bastard. He has to lose to the Bastard Pack as well. But, yeah, he has to lose to all of them, and then we'll see.
All right, Robert, do you want to talk about this at all, or should we wrap this up with this whole Death Riders thing? It's your comment if you want.
I'll just be real quick. Kind of the same thing I said about the previous segment, that, the idea was fine, the execution not so much. The reason why I gave this one a 0 and the previous one at least a half thumbs up was at this point, the ending started feeling overbooked. Like, this was kind of just... I felt unnecessary. So I'm like, all right, can the show just end now? It just felt unnecessary. So that's why I didn't give this one. I didn't even give half a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I was trying to wrap up my night, and now I got to write more angles down for our show. So, okay, let's move on from that one. I'm gonna move on. I gotta move our clock to 1 minute now. So we're going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. We've already done 5 angles, and I'll try to gloss over the rest of them and just get comments. I'm not going to really do in-depth summaries, but what do we got? Okay, so the next one, I think I'm moving on to Swerve Strickland and Bobby Lashley. So they had a match at Full Gear. All right, but I'm going to just very quickly mention the Dynamite thing, Robert, because this is a theme that you'll see in the next angle we cover with Statlander and Mercedes, where Swerve came out looking very good after Dynamite. So he got the better of Lashley during Dynamite, so that kind of made me think he wasn't going to win the match. But what had happened on Dynamite on Wednesday, on the 20th, really quickly, Robert, since you didn't see this, is that MVP and Lashley and everybody showed up in the parking lot, and Swerve got a cheap shot on him and kind of kicked him out of nowhere and ran away. Laughed at him and ran away. And then later in the night, the Hurt Syndicate found someone wearing Swerve's jacket, but it wasn't him. It was just some guy. So Swerve pulled the old, give my jacket away to someone else. So they found some guy in the stairwell who looked like he was wearing Swerve's jacket. And then later, I don't know if you know this, Robert, Bobby Lashley had his first match it was a handicap match against 2 weird jobbers.
Cheeseburger?
Yes, Joe Keys and Cheeseburger. So I've heard of him. He's an indie wrestler. But anyways.
Okay.
No shit. I thought he was a main eventer in WWE at one point. Great old Cheeseburger.
Anyways, real quick, just to gloss over this, because it happened this week. And then after the match, Swerve sneak attacked him again with the chain off a distraction by Prince Nana and kicked him. And actually did a Swerve stomp on him, I think. So that looked really good. And so he came out of it on top. And because of that, I was thinking, like, man, I don't know if he's going to win now, because usually when they look all super strong like that, that probably means they're getting geared up for a loss. But here's the Full Gear show. So let's look at the booking and see what happened. Swerve, Lashley, this is Full Gear from the 23rd, Saturday, yesterday as we speak. There was some interference from Shelton. Shelton got thrown out by the referee. Here's Nana taunting at Shelton. Bah. And so there was I think a crazy spot, if I'm not mistaken, with Swerve stomping. Where is it? Did I have it? Oh, here it is. Swerve giving the. It looks like the Swerve stomp to Lashley. So he ran off the stairwell and then jumped onto Lashley on the announce desk, and they took a nice bump like that. So that looked good. That was one of the crazy spots in this match. I highlighted that. But so that led to Swerve getting in the ring and hitting the Swerve stomp, and it was a kick out. So Lashley kicked out at 2. But that looked like that was as close as Swerve got to winning this match. And Lashley retreated out the ring to get some to get a break or something to reset himself. And I think Swerve got distracted by MVP, and that led to a couple of moves that was basically the end of the match. This is a big suplex on the outside, and then a spear through the guardrail. And I think that led to basically Lashley getting Swerve in the Hurt Lock, and that's the end of that match. And then they beat up Prince Nana after the match. So that was the afterbirth.
No, good.
They grabbed Nana and put him in the Hurt Lock too. So there you go. All right, so that's Lashley versus Swerve from Full Gear. Only me and Robert have reviews here, so I will reveal what we gave this on our Malapert Smart review post, which is in the description below if you guys want to see our full review, thumbs up, thumbs down reviews. Robert gave this a thumbs up, so another match that he liked, and I'm at a thumbs down. So I'm sorry, I gave this a negative. But Robert, I'm going to give you a minute, so whatever you liked about this Lashley Swerve match, the floor is yours, and then I'll go after you.
First off, I want to say I got a kick out of the Hurt Syndicate's theme song. I don't know, it's hilarious. Or they just keep repeating, "We hurt people, hurt people." it's funny to me. I don't know. I mean, it'll get old to me eventually, but for now, I dig it. The match was cool. Not as much interference as I expected, because they did kick out Shelton Benjamin. I did expect Bobby Lashley to win because this is his debut pay-per-view, right? I wouldn't want to see him lose, right? So I did expect him to win. I just didn't think it would be this clean. I mean, yes, there were some interference, but for the most part, the finish was a clean finish. That I did not expect. So how the result happened was a little bit of a surprise, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because this really establishes Bobby Lashley as a force to be reckoned with. Like, you got to be, at the top of your game to take this guy down, right? This is a big win for him, for Bobby Lashley, because Swerve Strickland was a former champion, so this is like no pushover that he just beat. So this is good for him. The match itself was good too, and again, how it happened was a little bit surprising. It was clean. I thought he would cheat at the end somehow to get it, but I don't think this is going to be the end of the feud. I feel like at some time in the future they'll have a rematch and Swerve might get that one. I don't know, but this was fine.
Okay, Vlad, I know you didn't watch it, but if you have any comments on the booking and Lashley winning clean, just making Swerve unconscious.
No, I mean, I probably would have given this a thumbs up as well. I think this is probably one of the things that made the most sense. Lashley going over makes sense. They did some spots. They did. I mean, I don't think they went as far as everybody else goes and kicking out of everything, which we can discuss in later matches. But I thought this was all pretty solid from the things that I saw. Like, I didn't see the show live, but I saw highlights and I saw people reviewing and talking about the show, and then I saw what you just showed. So that's an additional thing. I thought this was pretty good, honestly, and I probably would have one of the few things that I probably would have given a thumbs up for on the show.
No, I'll agree with that. If I'm just grading the work, this actually made good sense, and the work was good. So this was probably one of the better matches in that regard. But my liking this or not liking this, I think it comes down to the booking, and I just don't like seeing Swerve take clean loss after clean loss and humiliation after humiliation over and over. Like, I just don't really understand I'm not with Tony Khan that you could just come back the next day after a loss and just, be proud of yourself. I don't know. I think it hurts. It hurts the character, and this match shouldn't have happened if they were going to book it like this. Is what I'm saying. I think there was plenty of ways that. I think it would have been better if Swerve won by cheating. I know he's the good guy, but he would have had to have done something with the chain maybe when the referee wasn't looking, and then have Lashley come back and be pissed at him and want to get back at him again. I don't know what this accomplished. I guess I understand what you're saying, that it established Lashley. Does Lashley really need to be established? I mean, look at the guy.
Yes, but in this company, he should be established. I mean, he shouldn't suffer a loss on his first major match.
I don't think he should suffer a loss either, but I don't think they should have even had this match, basically, unless they were going to have some kind of fuck ending. But that's just me.
Okay, now they were talking sense. I think Lashley could have gone over, but they could have done more with the interference stuff and all that stuff, maybe too. Well, we know that we constantly say they don't give people any outs in this company. Like, they just lose flat as hell. It just happens all the time. So why should this be any different? But I agree with you in principle, Kevin.
All right, moving along. So we're gonna talk about Mercedes Moné and Statlander, which is a story that we've been covering on this show because we've thought some of their angles in their feud leading up to this match have been incredible, to say the least, in some way. So,
well, don't make it sound like you're incredible in a good way.
It's some incredible, either good or bad, but incredible. But anyways, regardless. So once again, let me give you guys some backup, something from Dynamite from Wednesday, Robert. So I'm jumping back to the 20th that you didn't see, but carrying on with the theme that I just showed you, because they had an instance where Statlander got the best of Mercedes on this night. So that again gave me the feeling, since she did well on this night, she'll probably take the loss at the pay-per-view. So that's just kind of the feeling I got. So on this night, again, Mercedes came out with Camille, and for some weird reason, Vlad, Camille, who has a broken arm, she still sent Camille in there to fight with Sheeta and Statlander, which she ended up getting her ass kicked with one arm. So again, the burial of Camille, which makes no sense. But then Mercedes tried to attack Statlander from behind, jumped on her back, and then that led to Statlander reversing it and giving her a tombstone. And on this night, Statlander was looked like she was the stronger character. But anyways, regardless of that, I'm going to jump to Full Gear. Actually, I'm going to jump to Full Gear 0 Hour, which I watched, the pre-show. And there was a little backstage segment with Mercedes and Camille in the back. And Mercedes once again scolding Camille and telling her, she's stupid and dumb. Or she always asks her, are you stupid or dumb? Which is such a demeaning question. Like, either one is bad. But anyways, Mercedes told Camille, look, don't come out with me tonight. I'm going to go out there and do it myself. Which, honestly, I was hoping, since Camille had been buried so horribly in this whole thing, that this was some kind of swerve, that her arm wasn't really broken, and that she was going to come out and help Mercedes during the match. Which didn't happen. But I'm just giving you thoughts I had as I was, going along watching this. But unfortunately, there was no Camille interference. So let's go to the match. So here we are, Full Gear 23rd. This is Mercedes and Statlander for the TBS title. Statlander was going to get her in one of them tombstone positions, and I think Mercedes got out of it just by straight up biting her leg, basically. So a little bit of dirty tactics, doing whatever you got to do, and Mercedes dropped her, and then that led to a Casadora, the move is called. I didn't know that, but I learned a new move. And she flung Statlander throat first into the middle rope, and then that led to a pinfall. And also a clean Mercedes victory. A clean victory for the heel, again, without Camille or anything. So there you go. Statlander has lost, and Mercedes is still the TBS champion. Ratings. Let's see what we got on this. Me and Robert have ratings for this. Vlad didn't watch the show completely, so he didn't submit any ratings. But again, me and Robert are kind of at a standoff on how we're looking at this show. So
Okay.
Robert gave it a thumbs up, and I gave it a thumbs down. So Once again, I'll start with Robert. Robert, Mercedes Moné versus Camille. Can we please have your review on this? 1 minute on the clock.
All right. Well, I didn't watch 0 Hour. I mean, I think during the match it was mentioned that Mercedes Moné told Camille to stay in the back. So I knew that happened. I just didn't actually see that in the 0 Hour. I don't know. I didn't really think much about the angles in this match, so I really rated it mostly off of the work, which I did like.
Okay.
And that was
That's
really
fine.
all it was, really. It was
cool.
a well-worked match, and Mercedes, by winning without Camille's help or interference, it just made her look better in the end. But I don't know. That wasn't a factor in my rating. I just, again, this was really just based on the work, and it was good. That's it.
All right. So the follow-up question before I go to Vlad. So you don't feel bad for Statlander taking a clean loss like this? The girl who beat
really.
Jade Cargill and ended her undefeated streak, and is supposed to be. She's supposed to be the top girl that they're pushing. I think. I don't know.
But when she was champion, when she was the champion, her championship run wasn't all that great either. So that doesn't really matter.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But I don't know who you can blame for that. That's kind of complicated because sometimes you can blame the wrestler and sometimes you can blame AEW and the booking. But anyways, Vlad, I know you didn't watch the match, but you just got a sense of the booking and what happened, and I summarized it for you. You got any comments you want to give?
Yeah, I got a lot of comments on this.
All right, well, you have a minute only, yes.
I'm going to try to keep it short. From the reviews that I saw, these two women they did everything to each other, basically. They put each other through hell. They put their finishers multiple times. It was a match that everybody was kicking out of everything. This is what I got. Like I said, I didn't see the show, but I saw the highlights. And
it was a long match. It was a long match. I skipped most of it.
Long match, grueling match, where everybody was kicking out of everything, right? And then the heel, who was obviously the heel, there's no gray area here, beats the babyface clean. Fuck me, man. After everything that's happened in this feud, where she tried to run her over with a car, and they went through the fake looking wall and everything here, and then she just and Camille, who's been made to look like a total idiot this whole time, wasn't even involved in the finish. I mean, I just am flabbergasted at the booking here. Not so much that Mercedes won, because fine, I knew she was going to win, but not like this, dude. Not where they were going to have this quote unquote epic match with this great work rate, whatever people think that means, and then have the heel win. Unbelievable. Okay, I'll leave it at that, Kevin.
All right. Yes. Well, I am also flabbergasted by the booking. I don't know. Robert. I'm sure it was a well worked match, but
I agree. It probably was.
Unfortunately, like Statlander is supposed to be the girl that they're building up here, and taking a clean loss to Mercedes. I just don't see where you can go with that. I mean, I don't. You can continue it, I guess, but it doesn't. That's not how wrestling works. She's supposed to get fucked, and then they have a rematch.
Yes, of course. The heel is supposed to screw the babyface in a competitive match, and then they're supposed to have a rematch. Now she just beat her, so why the fuck would they have a rematch at this point? It's over. The heel won the feud. The heel won the feud.
I know. Exactly. All right, we're moving along, Vlad. We got to move along. I'm already in an hour, but I got a couple more. Let me see. I got two more angles and my honorable mentions. So let's try to speed through this as best as we can. So, but another match from Full Gear. So we're at the Kyle Fletcher Will Ospreay match. So here's Kyle Fletcher coming in, who had just turned on his best friend Will Ospreay. He's wearing a crown. He's with Don Callis. I like that picture. I would frame that one.
He's wearing a crown.
I don't know.
At least you're honest. You should come up with something. Like Tony Schiavone would have come up with something right now. or Excalibur would have said something. Well, he's wearing a crown because of the things he was doing in England. Oh my God. Continue, Kevin. I'm sorry.
All right, look, I gotta forward through most of this match. The full match is in the description below if you guys really need to see it and stop it and go look at it. It's like half an hour, including the ring walk, so it's a long match. But I'm not gonna go through it. A lot of crazy, good looking moves, man. These guys really put in the moves really well. I'll tell you that. The work looks good. I don't know if it makes sense. That's a whole nother story. But I'm gonna show the one spot, Vlad. If you didn't see this, this is one of the craziest spots I've ever seen in wrestling.
Okay, let me see this. I think I saw it, but yes, this is the part we talked about. And guess what? Okay, show this part first.
So Kyle Fletcher reversed some move that Will Ospreay had, to describe this for people who are on audio. So he has him in a tombstone position out on the ring apron, and the steel steps are like kind of 3 feet away from him, it seems. And he's gonna jump and do a tombstone pile driver onto the steel steps from the apron. So here he is with Will. Well, he's holding Will Ospreay, and then he jumps and fucking hits his knees on the fucking steel steps.
Dude.
And
the fuck is the point? Okay.
Well, that was the end of the match. At least if they were going to
No, it was not the end of the match. That
it was pretty much the end of the match. This led to the series of moves.
No, he kicked out after that, so it was.
He did kick out, but he's out of it. He kicked out, but he's fucked up.
What are you talking about? If he kicked out of it, then that wasn't the end of the match. He's not out of it. He had to do more things after that. How could there be anything after that?
Sure, he did have to do more things.
That should have crippled him. Okay,
but the people were pretty surprised at that move. Like that move got a big pop. I'll tell you that much. So he drags Will Ospreay into the ring, who's pretty fucked up, and he puts, like Vlad says, puts a few more moves on him, talks shit, talks trash.
A few, like 5-6 moves, but yes.
5-6 moves, and then this is the finisher. He's got him like in a suplex position up on the second rope, and then drops his neck on the top rope, which got another big pop from the fans, and then that was really the ending. So another clean win for the heel. So
unbelievable. But this one's even more unbelievable. To me.
And then Mark Davis, formerly of United Empire, comes out to check on Will Ospreay, make sure there's no post-match attack, and then Fletcher and Don Callis just retreat happily. All right, so we have some ratings for this. Me and Robert, we watched it. So we're on opposite ends of the spectrum. This is the only match Robert gave 2 thumbs up to. So Robert loved this shit.
I did.
And I gave it a thumbs down. So I'm at a thumbs down. Vlad also didn't rate this. He didn't see the whole thing.
I would give it a thumbs down. I might even give it 2. But to be honest,
well, you didn't see the match though. What about the work? Anyways, Robert.
Yeah, the work. I've seen enough Oscar matches to understand what happened here.
Well, stop it, Vlad. Let's not have such a bad attitude about this. Let me give Robert his time to talk. He loved this shit, so we're gonna let him speak uninterrupted about the Will Ospreay Kyle Fletcher match, with Kyle Fletcher getting made here, right, Robert?
Yes. Yeah, well, I think that was the idea. He's a made man now after this match. Well, first of all, I love the match itself, right? And then
yes,
the build up to it was really. I actually thought this was one of the of all the matches in Full Gear. This is one of the best built up matches, right? Had a good angle.
Yes, I agree with that too.
I did not know who was going to win this one. Every other match on this card, I had a pretty good idea of who was going to win. This one, I had no clue. I really didn't. This was a toss up for me. But yes, either one wouldn't have been a surprise. But hey, you know what? The result of this will just propel Kyle Fletcher. I mean, like you're pretty much a made man beating Will Ospreay clean, right? So I think that was the whole purpose of it. I don't know where they're gonna go from here, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a rematch. But this was well done, and I like the angle leading up to this, so that's why I gave it 2 thumbs up.
All right. Okay. What do I have to say about this? Gosh. I think I'm with Vlad. The way Vlad was saying Lashley needed a win in his premiere match to make him look good. Like, I'm still kind of in that phase where Will Ospreay's all the big shit he did was in Japan. You know, and if you want to make him look good on American television and kind of introduce him to the American viewers, I don't think they've done that enough. That he can just like out of friendship help make a guy famous. You know, I think it hurt him. And
You don't think so, really? Like his feuds with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson and all them, that wasn't enough, really? Well, okay, go ahead. I thought it was, but go ahead.
I don't know. I haven't really felt it. I haven't really felt that. I feel like Ospreay still can be a bigger star in this company. He still hasn't fought for the world championship. So, you know, I don't know. I think they could have done more and then done this. If they really wanted to do this and do it well, do it in the future. But I don't know. I just also got a bad feeling about it. I think the crowd, too, was kind of flat when they did the finish. It was like, oh, really? That's what they did? Okay. So, I don't know. And then what are they going to do with Kyle Fletcher? Like, they got a supposed superstar now, right? They made a superstar. Are they really going to use him properly? That's why I'm like, is it really worth it to give Will Ospreay a clean loss of Kyle Fletcher to make Kyle Fletcher? I don't know. I didn't get a good feeling off of it like you, Robert. Like, I'm not getting that feeling. I'm being a dud here. I'm being a fuddy-duddy. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kyle Fletcher will be a mega star. But I guess I'll give Vlad the time to talk. Did you want to say something about this, Vlad?
Yeah, I'll try to be brief. Well, I know I have a minute anyways, but yeah, I'm with Kahan for sure on this. Okay, for all intended purposes, Will Ospreay is the biggest star in AEW at this point in time. I guess him and MJF, but MJF now like kind of has the part-time thing going. So for all intended purposes, Will Ospreay is the biggest star, and to have your biggest star lose clean. I know it was a quote-unquote banger of a match. Again, not a huge fan of this type of style of wrestling. It's too video game-ish and it's insane, the stuff they were kicking out of. The stuff they were kicking out of is just logic completely goes out the window. But forget that part. Just the fact that, and actually like Fletcher, I just want to say that too. I think Fletcher he's in great shape. He has a pretty good look. And his character is kind of developing quite well, but I don't think that as the heel, you should beat the baby face by just, again, putting all these kind of crazy moves on him and then just beating him clean, flat, 1, 2, 3 with nothing else happening. I mean, why does he have this family there and there's no interference? Why does Callis even doing there if he's not going to even interfere in the match? Like, why does... I don't know.
Yeah, use the screwdriver. I could have seen him doing the screwdriver thing and fucking winning like that. That would have been fine.
There could have been numerous ways that Fletcher could have won the match. I don't have an issue with Fletcher winning as well, but not like this again. Again with the face is losing clean to the clearly diabolical heels. It's just insane to me. It's like the booking is all reversed to the way it needs to be. I'm flabbergasted. And we can debate on the style of match and like what is good wrestling and what is not good wrestling. Personally, I do not like Ospreay as a wrestler. That's just me. I don't like his style. I don't think that's really wrestling. But we could, I know a lot of people do love his style, and that's fine too. That's fine. It's different strokes for different folks type of situation. But as far as the booking, I'm just in awe of Tony Khan and his mind, and not in a good way.
Yeah, well, I could have given it 2 thumbs down, but you know what? That freaking tombstone pile driver onto the steel steps was crazy. And if Ospreay was gonna lose, okay, at least it was on a crazy fucking move like that. So
though he didn't lose to that. Again, I'll argue he didn't. That's not what beat him. But okay,
it was one of the moves in a series of moves that led to him getting put down. So
okay, that's fine. Okay.
All right, let's move along. My last angle before we go to my honorable mention. So this is the last full angle that we're covering today, and this is Mina Shirakawa and Mariah Mace.
This is another one that made no sense, bro. It's a show full of things that made no sense.
Championship celebration. So Mariah May had won her championship, I don't know what, like 2 months ago now? But she hadn't wanted to do the celebration without Mina Shirakawa, who's been in Japan. Plus, Mina's been seems like not wanting to come over because of Mariah's new attitude and personality. So they might not. They're in like a weird lesbian same-sex kind of relationship, right? I don't know. I guess. They've never really clarified it, but anyways, so Mina came out and she can't really speak English that well. and she introduced Mariah, and they did their thing, and they had a glass of champagne, right? They swigged the champagne, and then they did a celebration. So here's Mina Shirakawa dancing, so they're having a good time. I mean, that's how you celebrate, Robert. That's true. If you're gonna celebrate, you gotta do some dancing.
That's right.
So then this is where everything hit the fan, because I was like, something's gonna happen here. But Vlad, did you see this? Are you watching this or what?
Yes. First of all, I saw this, and yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you didn't see this. Okay, so we can get a rating from you then when I'm done with this. But okay, so while Mina's dancing and she's got her back turned to Mariah, Mariah's got that champagne bottle. She's gonna crack her in the head with it, and then she turns around. Mina Shirakawa turns around, and then Mariah misses horribly. So again, another fake-looking thing, and then Mina sees, holy shit, she just fucking turned on me. What the hell? It's a crazy moment. And they look at each other. Mina's like pissed off. She yells at her, and then she spears her off the entrance ramp onto some freaking table.
Jesus Christ.
And they both look fucked up. Actually, this is not over. Watch how Mina Shirakawa comes up out of this looking. I don't know. That looked really good. I don't know if that's real blood, first of all, but she's distraught. Oh, the humanity of it. I mean, God, this is just really, really raw human emotion. You know?
What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Well, imagine if you were betrayed by someone that you thought loved you out of nowhere all of a sudden, and Mina Shirakawa just looks fucking pissed off and distraught and insane, crazed. So,
yeah.
All right, let's the and here's Mariah May fucking unconscious. So, okay, ratings for our last angle today. I got Robert gave it a half thumbs up. He kind of liked it. And for me, this was the only thing on the show I gave 2 thumbs up to. So I for Mina Shirakawa and the sheer emotion of it, man, it fucking got me. So I was surprised.
I'm crying now too.
I was surprised that I really loved it, because I was kind of like, what the fuck is going to happen in this scene? I thought it was going to be stupid. I thought it was stupid that they advertised it to be a segment on the pay-per-view, but okay. Anyways, so me, I loved it. I guess Vlad, do you want to comment on it? You got
yes.
You got a minute.
I badly want to comment on it.
Okay, go ahead, man.
Well, the funny thing is, Gail thought it was going to be stupid, and he was right. It was absolutely stupid.
But I still loved it.
But he still loved it, yeah. No, okay. Well, they've been doing this champagne celebration for like 3 months now, ever since she won. They've been like, we got to have this champagne celebration. We got to have this champagne celebration. So finally they have it. And I guess it's to go into an angle. I don't understand why Mariah May wants to turn on her, like specifically. It doesn't really make sense.
It never does with her. She's just evil or something. I don't know.
She's no threat to her. She doesn't want her title or anything. She just wants to be like celebrate with her. So I don't understand why she's attacking her. But what's even worse here is that the heel was left laying and not to be. Again, they reversed how things are supposed to be. She's supposed to leave Mina Shirakawa, whatever the hell her name is, laying, not the other way around. Okay, I mean, I give up. I just give up. It's all reversed. It all makes no sense. It's like watching AEW is like watching the Twilight Zone. Everything is like backwards. Everything.
It is true. This was a very backwards pay-per-view. A lot of heels winning, a lot of weirdness. But okay,
yeah.
Vlad, let me give Robert time to talk.
I give up.
Robert, you kind of like. Wait, what would have been your rating on this, Vlad? Before I moved on,
I would have given it a thumbs down. I might have given it 2, but probably just to be nice. Based on the fact, plus they were doing all this stuff in like heels. I mean, like what was that? They were flying around the ring in heels. It was insane what he has them doing out there. But anyways, so one thumb down would have been fine.
Thumbs down. All right. Well, Robert, you gave this a half thumbs up, so you kind of liked it. So let's hear some thoughts.
Okay, so about halfway through this segment before the turn, I was ready to give this 2 thumbs up because I was actually expecting some HLA. I was like, Let's get it on.
Oh my God,
That's what I was. That's what I was waiting for. That would have been real human emotion to me.
Well,
But-
sure.
So
Yeah,
I was
agreed.
ready to. I was ready to really like this, but
Yeah,
but
that's
that
what
didn't-
people were expecting, maybe.
But that didn't turn out to be the case. The turn happened. It was still the way it was executed was still pretty cool. So that's why I still gave it a half thumbs up. But I would have liked it a lot more if it went according to how I thought it was going to go.
I feel you. All right. Well, good comments, Robert. All right. Cool. That'll conclude my show today, the Malapert Smart Podcast, episode number 136. I do got some honorable mentions, though, that I will throw at you real quick before we call it a night. So these are things that didn't quite make it that we're going to not cover in depth, but I'll just mention them. But I want to mention Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia winning the TNT title, which, Robert, I don't know if you missed this on Dynamite, but there was a crazy segment where, Daniel Garcia captured Jack Perry and, talked to him. I don't know where this is, in some freaking garage or something. Yeah, some warehouse somewhere. And, it was a crazy scene. But this was from Collision, really, but they replayed it on Dynamite. But for the match itself, like I said, Daniel Garcia did win the match, but I didn't really like how it happened because basically Jack Perry just said, go ahead and hit me. Just let him hit him. He did that weird thing where he was super brave. And then that led to Daniel Garcia just hitting a bunch of moves on him and putting him in the sharpshooter and making him tap out. So, yeah, Jack Perry acted all like he was trying to be all tough and gave Daniel Garcia the opening to attack him. And then Daniel Garcia won the match. So, I don't know. I mean, I want to give it just some praise because of the feud that I liked, but I didn't really love the ending of the match. If they were going to put Daniel Garcia over, I think they should have just put him over. But what did we give this? What did Robert give this? I gave it a half thumbs up, and Robert liked it. Robert gave it a full thumbs up. So, all right. I don't know. Unless you guys have any thoughts about Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia. Robert, if you want to say anything, I'll move on to my second honorable mention.
I know. Just let's go ahead and move on.
Oh, wait. Actually, you know what? Since we're on Full Gear, and I'm done with Full Gear, with that honorable mention, I'm completely done with Full Gear. So we could give our closing thoughts on Full Gear, I guess, right now. So there were some other matches, like we mentioned earlier, Hangman Page versus Jay White, MJF versus Roderick Strong, Takeshita versus Ricochet, and Private Party retaining tag titles in a four-way match to open the show. So overall thoughts, Robert, I mean, you gave it a very strong score. If you look at your post with your reviews and all the thumbs up you added up, it was a plus 9.5. So that's a very, I mean, from the sound of that, it sounded like it was a good show. But you want to give any final thoughts about Full Gear before we move on to my last honorable mentions?
It's decent. It didn't start off very well for me. That four-way tag match, I thought, I must have given that a low score. I don't remember what I gave it, but I don't think I gave it a high score. And plus, I've missed 2 of the past 3 Dynamites, so I don't know why people all of a sudden are booing Max Caster. That was new to me. I don't know. It didn't start off well, but the rest of it was decent. So I don't know.
You did give that B minus, huh? Okay.
B minus,
all right.
like, overall, or B minus.
Interesting. You did give that 4-way tag match indifferent, so that was a low rating on that one. But also a weird thing from that tag match. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Well, first of all, Max Caster, he doesn't want to be in the Acclaimed anymore. They're going to break that up. That's going to happen.
That was pretty obvious watching the match, but I just didn't. I don't know the angles leading up to this, so I don't know what happened previously.
There's really nothing. It's like on Rampage, they'll have like promo times or interviews backstage, and Castro just seemed like annoyed with Bowens. I think he's over him. He's over him, like yelling and saying, everyone loves the Acclaimed. He just doesn't. I don't think he's into it anymore. He wants to move on from this. So they're planning their breakup, And there was that one spot. I don't know if you know this. I bookmarked it, actually. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a weird spot where Caster and Bowens were in the ring together. And,
He tried to take the fall for her.
They tried to take a fall from each other, and the commentators were like, can we even do that? You know what I mean? It's like, they didn't even know what the rules was. And then the referee started counting.
God damn, this company, man. Jesus.
Because it was like one guy's the legal guy and the other guy's not the legal guy. So what the fuck is that? Anyway, so Vlad, this is your chance to give overall thoughts on Full Gear. It seemed like an all right show, I guess. It had a decent card, but like we said, a lot of weird booking.
Well, I think I was listening to people review it, and a lot of people were like, "Wow, the matches were this, and they were so good." And this AEW is known for this is great wrestling. But if none of it makes any goddamn sense at the end of it, can you really say it's a good match? I mean, you could appreciate some of the work, quote unquote. I just don't consider everybody kicking out of everything a good work match. I don't. That's not what I consider good wrestling. I know a lot of people do, and that's why they're like praising the matches here, but I just don't see it that way. So I thought the majority of this stuff made no sense. It was illogical. It was dumb. I would even go as far as to say it was dumb. And I mean, it's this classic AEW. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I would give it a very poor grade as a whole. Probably like a D, maybe even an F, but I would probably a D just to be nice. I'm not saying the wrestlers are bad, but Jesus, I mean,
all right. No, well, you got your point across. No, I feel what you're saying. All right, well, that's cool. But anyone out there who has fun with it, I'm sorry if we're shitting on your fun, but that's just how we feel.
That's what we have to analyze this stuff. We have to call it. What are you talking about? Like, why do we have to apologize for calling bad stuff bad? Like, if it's bad, it's bad, and we move on. And if they don't, people don't think
Robert
it's bad,
enjoyed it, so he had a good time with it. He didn't feel like it was a waste of your time. No.
No. Well, except for that first match, but everything else.
I did like Private Party coming out. I gave it a half thumb for Private Party's ring walk entrance with all those girls and the dance they did. I don't know if you remember that. So, anyways, all right. My second out of 3 honorable mentions. This one's kind of a dishonorable mention, but I did want to mention it just for it to be mentioned. It's from Monday Night Raw from last Monday, the 18th, and it's Gunther and his low self-confidence program that he's doing with Damian Priest. So he saw Damian backstage signing autographs, and he's just decided to put a sleeper hold on him, trying to be a heel and everything.
So cool.
And then it gets reversed, and there's a scuffle. I'm not going to show it, but, the link is in the description below. But, yeah, Damian gets the best of him and then just humiliates him and stands over him and talks shit. So I don't know about them freaking making Gunther going from being like a world-class wrestler to now a freaking schlub all out of nowhere. But what was our ratings on this one? Anyone have our ratings? Let me pull that up here. Give me
I don't know. If I didn't give it a thumbs down, I should have. This was something else.
I have it all here. Let's see. Yeah, me and Vlad, thumbs down. So we dislike this. Robert submitted a rating and indifferent, so he didn't give it a thumbs down, but it's just nothing good came from it, he said. But if you want to comment on it, this is your chance.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just don't understand. This is kind of like AW booking. I don't understand it. Like, why is Gunther made to look like a little bitch here? For real?
Maybe he's decided wrestling's not for him, and he's going to leave, and he's going to job out to Damian as he leaves.
You mean
that's the only thing I could think of.
He's retiring from the business. That probably is the only explanation for him to be basically the best wrestler in the world for the most part, as far as in-ring ability, to be treated this way. And all of a sudden, he has no confidence in himself, and he's attacking the guy, but he's left laying. I don't understand it. He attacked the guy from behind. He put him on the chokehold, but he's left laying, holding onto his stomach or his balls or whatever the hell he's holding on to. And I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. But this is kind of something AEW would do. I'm very surprised that WWE is going in this direction with Gunther. There has to be a story behind it, and I hope it's not that he's leaving the business, like Kayon said, because that would be the only explanation, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Robert, do you have any thoughts on Gunther and everything going on here?
Yeah, he's not looking great right now. It doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, my last honorable mention, Robert, you might be the only one who can relate to me on this one, but it's from NXT. It's the end of Chase U and Ridge Holland. But I really like this segment. This was a good segment to me. You gave it a thumbs up too, I think. Did you? Let me see. Yeah, we both gave this thumbs ups. But this was all hands on deck. This was like basically a WrestleMania main event. Vlad.
Okay, I will say something about this. So I've never really been a fan of Chase U, but I still didn't expect this result. Like I thought, because they're supposed to break up if he loses, right? Like, that was the stipulation. So I was like, there's no way he's losing, and he still lost. So that was a surprise to me.
I kind of expected it, man. It's run its course. It was never a good storyline. I've never liked anything from
they're
Chase
still. If you take a look at the fans and the way they're reacting to him, they're still hot for that group. Man. So I don't know.
That's enough. But let me go over real quick how this ended, because it was exciting. It was all hands on deck. Yes. It was like a WrestleMania main event because it was all on the line here. You know what I mean? So everyone had to come out. But Ridge Holland with a low blow, with a nice low blow, and then that brought Duke Hudson out. And Duke Hudson pulled out the referee, and then that led to a squabble with Ridge Holland and Duke Hudson. And Duke Hudson went through this thing that they made. I don't know what that's there for, but he went through like a little wall that said NXT on it. And then that led to, there was more interference from Riley Osborne of Chase U, but in the end, Ridge Holland did win, and his happy look that he ended Chase U was priceless. he was just so happy about it. And that's it for Chase U. No, I'm glad that it's the end of Chase U, man. Like, Andre Chase could be a decent worker, but him running his own university where other wrestlers like look up to him or something, like, it's not a good storyline. It's not a good program. So let them move on from that. So I'm happy with that. But I thought this was like a good ending for them. It was really solid. So that's my only mention from NXT today came in our honorable mentions, but I did watch it, so I'm glad I mentioned something. Thumbs up from me and Robert on the Ridge Holland Andre Chase match. So there you go. All right, that'll conclude episode number 136 of the Malapert Mark Wrestling Podcast. Another week of wrestling in the books. Sorry I kept you for so long, but there was a lot to get through, a lot of AEW to talk about. So we did it, and I'm going to reproduce this and put it out by morning. So look out for that, everyone. I got to remind some people, if there's anything on this podcast that we don't discuss or we didn't have time to, go to our YouTube posts, and there'll be links to our blog where we literally review every angle, at least a thumbs up or a thumbs down or some comments. So if there's something you're interested in wrestling that we didn't talk about, there's a lot more. There's a lot of things happening on Smackdown, women's war games, all this type of stuff. NXT, Rampage. I even do Rampage and Collision and everything. So if you want just the summaries of what happened, go on there and it'll just be easily laid out for you. Okay. And then what else? My week in TNA weekly review. Watch out for that too. That's my other series, but I'm doing that by myself without Vlad and Robert. So if anyone's interested in TNA, check that out. Subscribe, everybody. We're on the road to 500. We're almost there. Okay, we just need a few more. And we hope you have a good time watching us, man. We're just trying to talk what happened on the show. And I really like to focus in on what happens on the show in this show, because there's enough shows talking about the behind the scenes rumors and everything, and I'm just not interested in it. I'm interested when people get their chance on the show, what do they do? So I'm really happy with how we've been reviewing angles here. I think our show's been picking up. Business is picking up. And to end the show, I'll thank Robert and Vlad for coming on also. So thank you for your time.
It was great to be here. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, Vlad, for you, the AEW Full Gear review was probably useful since you didn't really see all of it, but
Yeah, no, it was
there you
helpful. But it didn't change my opinions going in. Like I thought what I thought based on everything that I saw. So, but it was like another addition, just like that verified my opinions on the show.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter to us whether you watched it or not. You could still sit on the panel and give your opinions on whatever you think of what we just say who won and stuff, So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun to me either way. I'm glad you came on, and I'm glad you came on too, Robert. I'm glad you had time this week to watch wrestling. That means it must have been a decent week.
It's all right.
I mean, shit, it's been my favorite thing lately. I'm rolling with it. So the Malapert Smart Podcast YouTube page, that's my page, and I've been working hard on it. So if you have any feeling like you want to watch some wrestling or some wrestling talk, go to our page and watch all the latest videos. So there you go. All right, guys, that'll be it for tonight. That's the end of this episode. Please tune in next week, and if you're subscribed, you'll get the notifications. So hit that like and subscribe, baby. Smash that like and subscribe.
Cool.
All right. Till next time. Have a good night,
Turn
guys.
on the lights, feel the beat. Person tales can't be beat. Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the wrestle heat. Now the birds smart, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smart's always high. Fights and myths, so we say. Heroes rise and sway. In the ring, night and day. Wrestling talk, come and stay. Now the birds fly, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smart's always high. Crash and cheer. All the news you wanna hear. Wealth and fame always near. With the crew, have no fear. All the birds smart, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smart's always high. Catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smart's always high.